All right, I'll start one more time. I'd love for everyone to start, invite you to just to take some deep breaths. And in these breaths, I want you to notice your body. Notice your body sitting on your chair, your feet on the ground. You're being supported behind you, underneath you. Really let your body be heavy in this moment, that it's really meeting that support from all around, underneath, behind, from the feet. Really sink into your seat and keep taking the deep breaths. And on the exhale, when you breathe out, I want you to make a little noise, little vibration that goes as you relax into that breath. Right here, we're vibrating that vagus nerve inside of us that allows for this deep connection and feeling of safety. And I want you to notice if there's any other tension in your body, any tightness or tension you might notice, breathe into that space. And then really invite yourself to let go. And if you're noticing now that you are relaxing with each breath, the breath is communicating to your nervous system that in this moment you are safe. You're safe enough to let go. You're safe enough to relax and be present here. Good. One last breath here. All right, now you can open your eyes and come back. Now notice the difference that you feel in your body now. More present, more aware, more fully here than just a minute ago. And that's the power of our breath that only took us about a minute or so. And that's just the beginning of what it means when we say embodiment. That is really getting into our body in the present moment and feeling safe inside in our internal experience. So that's just touching the surface. Now, what is somatic therapy? Soma is actually a Greek word that means the self known from within. So the body that I know from within me. And so what does that mean exactly, the body that I'm knowing? My body is my thoughts, my emotions, my impulses, sensations, and feelings. All of these things are my body. They're my experience, my internal and external experience and perceptions of who I am in my life and how I respond to things. And then there's this inner consciousness that can witness those things, right? We have a feeling or a thought, and we can witness it and observe it and make meaning around it and understand it. And we have this sense of self that is separate from our body and all of these different parts of our body. And so the somatic therapy is really beginning to integrate and have this dual experience of our self, our higher self, our inner consciousness, that knowing of who we are, and our body experiences, our feelings, our thoughts, our sensations, our impulses. And it's this coming together and integrating into a feeling of wholeness, of oneness. Now this has become popular nowadays because many of us feel at odds with our bodies and with ourselves. We have conflicting emotions, conflicting desires and understandings of what we should do and who we want to be, and we're not that person, and we feel upset about it, and we have feelings that come out that we act in a way that we don't really want to or mean to, but we do, and we can't even control it. And so we find ourselves in conflict a lot with this kind of push, pull, should do, can't do, want to do, and how do we know, like, what is the right thing to do? And does that even matter? And all these things, right? We find ourselves in conflict. We find ourselves sometimes stuck in responding a certain way that we don't like, that we don't like that part of ourselves. We don't like when we get angry and we yell, and we can't control it, but it happens, it shows up. And then now we feel mad that we got angry. We're beating ourselves up. We feel shame and about our responses. So the healing happens when we can separate ourselves from all of our bodily experiences, our thoughts, feelings, emotions. We separate and we connect. It's that reconnecting to our higher self, that we can be with ourselves in a loving, compassionate way instead of fighting against ourselves. And so I want to do another little practice to help you really feel what this process feels like. So everybody, make a fist in one hand. And I want you to make a real tight fist. Now, this fist here is going to be a part of yourself that you don't really like. This is going to be maybe like your reactivity or your selfishness or your anger or your maybe something that's caused you some trouble in the last few days. I'm sure we all have something. And this fist is going to hold tight here. Now, the other hand is going to be the part of you that wants to fix this part of you. It doesn't like this part of you. That is like, all right, this has got to go. This is not going to work. These cannot stay closed up. You've got to open up. You've got to be different and ready. We're going to take this hand and we're going to make this fist open up. We're going to pry it open. Ready? Everybody try to pry open your fingers. You got to get it open. Oh, but look, see, I got it open. I'm trying to get another one. Oh, that closed up. Oh, notice the struggle. Notice your body starting to tense and I feel this tension in me and this like battle going on. And that is where we often find ourselves battling and stuck. And this fist, it doesn't open up very much. Maybe I can pry it open for a minute, but it goes right back up, right? So now make this fist again. And this hand, I want you to shake it out. Shake out that energy, shake that out. And now I want you to invite in a very gentle energy. What would that feel like? Let your hand just kind of explore some gentleness. And now invite in some compassion. And I want you to take this hand now and offer the most gentle support that you can. Very loving, supportive touch to this hand. And now feel what that hand wants to do. How does it receive that loving touch? I know mine starts to want to open up a little bit. Maybe receive some little massage, some love. And it really wants to embrace this other loving hand. Now that is the process of somatic therapy, to be this loving, gentle presence to really embrace all parts of ourselves. And through that compassion and love, we can become whole, and we can start working together with ourself and our body and all the parts that we have. We start to understand them and hold them as sacred and special. And we begin to really know who we are and why we are. And we love all parts. All parts deserve to be loved. So that's the process. I would love to just get one volunteer to just share briefly how that experience was for you. This is gonna be interactive today. And so I'm gonna have just asking for, I'm gonna go gallery. Now I can see everyone. Someone to volunteer a quick share. How was that experience with the fist and the switching of the role of that hand? I saw Pam Stein hand.
Hi, Kendra.
Hi.
I know you want to say hi, Mom. Wow, I am kind of blown away by that simple exercise. I sure did have the fist, and I didn't even bother trying to pry it open. And then when I put I really got it, the other hand, and I thought I have to put it, I just yearned to put it on top, and immediately my fisted hand relaxed, and then I started crying.
Oh.
So I really got this image of, what I need to do in those moments of panic or frozen, like when I'm frozen. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, and then Jim, we'll get you next time. We're going to have more chances for sharing. So we can see the difference in how we approach the different parts of us. And we often notice that when we have a part that shows up that we don't like, there is a voice inside, another part shows up that is condemning or has disgust or really wants to just avoid or get away from that part that's coming up. And so we often respond that way. And the part just kind of gets suppressed. We ignore it. We put on a mask. We do other things to distract from it, but it's still there, that little part of us. And you know what it desires? It desires to be seen and understood and deemed good. So often growing up as children, we acted in a way that made sense to us. We just, we're doing something that sometimes just being ourselves, and all of a sudden we were reprimanded or told that's bad, that's wrong. Sometimes you're bad, you're selfish, don't be like that, don't do this. And we feel this sense of, ooh, that part of me is bad. That part of me is not okay. It's not allowed. Shouldn't be like that. And then that part gets tucked away. And sometimes it's really big wounds, sometimes it's little ones, but that doesn't go away. That part of us is still there. And it comes up in our life as adults. It comes up to the surface. And this part wants to be seen and understood why it's there and to be deemed good. Even though we made a mistake, even though our actions may have had an impact on others, it wasn't okay, this part of us is still good. And there's a reason why it acted that way. So here's where we get into there's so much of our body and our experiences, our reactions, and things that are automatic. We don't choose to react that way. We're not consciously aware and deciding a lot of our responses. They're automatic. And we're actually, did you know we're only aware, our brain lets us be aware of less than 1% of all the information that we're taking in at any given moment. There is so many things going on in our awareness. Our nervous system is picking up information all the time. Cues of safety, cues of danger. Am I safe? Am I okay? But it's too much information to process. We're not aware of it, but our body knows. And then our body develops a coping mechanism for when we don't feel safe. When there is a cue of danger, when something triggers us and we don't feel safe, then we either want to reach for connection, or we go into our fight, flight, freeze response because we weren't able to find safety and connection in our trigger. Then as children, when we're growing up, we're learning, right, how to be in the world, learning about feeling okay and being who we are. We need our adult caretaker to help us know that we're okay. So we have a big feeling, we're afraid or we're upset, and our first response is to seek connection. That's our first response, our innate desire and impulse. But then along the way, things happen that create our caretakers and people in our lives were not safe. And we weren't met with validation that we're okay and we're good and our feelings make sense. We were met with the opposite. No, you can't be angry. No, that's selfish. No, you're bad. That's wrong. Or they were just neglectful. Our parents weren't around, or we just didn't have anyone to go to, or they were off in their own world, and sometimes they could have been dangerous. We go with a feeling and our caretaker was dangerous. So it became this cue of danger, and a caretaker, another person in our life, is now in our world dangerous. So we stop going toward seeking connection. When we have big feelings, we learn we have to cope somehow. We have to, we go into an automatic response. Our nervous system decides for us. As children, we don't get to decide, oh, I'd rather be an avoidant, or I'd rather be someone who has a big energy and fights back, or I'd rather just shut down and check out. We don't get to decide. Our body does all that for us. We, based on our personality and our energy and our home and our makeup of our DNA, we have certain talents and gifts, and our body decides for us what's going to work best. And it tries out different things, and it figures out, you know what? I am a person that has really big energy. And in my home, if I act big and inflated and fight back, I'll get what I want. I'll stay safe. So then I learn as I grow up to do that. In my home, personally, for me, I learned that I could be really good at being a good girl. And if I put on that mask of just do whatever mom and dad say and have a smile, then I will stay safe. If I got angry or upset, I was no longer safe. I no longer had the connection with my parents, and it was too scary for me. So in order to regulate myself and stay safe, I was a good girl. And I had feelings, but I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't learn how to be angry, for example. So whenever I have growing up as an adult, if there was anger in me or in others, all of a sudden I was dysregulated. I was unsafe. I went to my coping mechanisms because I don't know how to deal with anger, because I wasn't taught that as a child. I didn't have another person to hold my anger in their body for a moment and tell me it was okay. And that's what we need as children in order to learn how to hold the anger inside of ourselves, or hold the sadness, whatever feeling it is, hold that within ourselves safely. We needed a caretaker. to help us hold that. And so once we feel that, oh, look, we went to someone who we had connection, they told us we were okay. Then I can feel, oh, I'm okay. That's what our natural impulse is to do. And I'll tell a quick story about that. I just, a couple of days ago, my 7-year-old daughter is big emotions, very highly emotional. So she got triggered and got very angry. When she gets angry, she runs away. She just screams and then runs out of the room. And then I, as a parent, have a million things to do. I have 5 children and I'm like, oh, cannot deal with her anger right now. But I knew that it doesn't help to just try to, brush it off, tell her to suck it up. Or I've learned better. I know better than that. I used to be more like that as a parent, but I've learned so much. And so my first attempt, I go into her room and I'm like, okay, Alyssa, I know you're angry and it'll be okay. Like, let's figure out something to do. And I'm just totally like neutral, right? I'm not feeling her emotions. I'm just like, I'm calm, but I don't have the space yet to engage with her. And she just yells at me, get out, go away. And so I was like, oh, oops, I didn't do that right. So I go out of the room and I'm like, okay, she needs me to feel her feelings. She needs me to know that I care for a second. So then it was hard for me to get into that space, but I really tried. I just put on a sad face. Like I put on like a concerned face. And then I went into her room and I just peeked around the corner and I did a little like this. And immediately she looks at me and a little smile goes up in the little corner of her mouth. And then that's my cue of like, it's okay to come forward. So I go and I sit down next to her and I give her an even bigger, like this little, like, yeah, this concerned face. And then she looks and then she just gives me a big, huge hug. And I was, it's just like this. That's what she needed. She just needed, I didn't even say anything. I just showed her with my face that I cared about her feelings, that she was okay, that I wanted to know, right, that she's good. I'm not mad at her. Don't have time for her. I'm here for her. I care. I want to know. That was all the look that I did with my face to her. And she felt it in her body. She felt me feeling her and she felt safe and connected. And it was beautiful. And so that's what I mean when I say our children need that. We needed that as children. We needed that caretaker, that somebody to tell us we're okay and they care about what's going on inside. So most of us didn't quite receive that all the way. And so we now have the task of being that parent for ourselves. We're the hand, we're the loving, caring presence for these parts that come up. That's our opportunity now, to be our own loving parent. And when we can do that for ourselves, we can do it for others. So the only reason I was able to do that for my daughter is because I had done it for me, for myself. So this is where we're going to go into learning a little bit about you, about what are your cues of safety and danger, and how do you perceive the world, and what are your belief systems and your response to the world? How do you respond? And so we're going to just I'm going to share my screen and show a couple images. And I want everyone to notice about when they see this image. This is a little image of a little teddy bear here. What is your first thought that comes up when you see this little teddy bear? Just your first thought. If you have a pencil, you can write it down. This is getting to know yourself. What goes on inside of you? What are your automatic responses? Automatic beliefs about the world? What's your second thought? Sometimes we have an initial thought, and then immediately we have a second thought that counteracts that first thought. Write that down. What's your second thought? And then now, do you have any impulse to move toward the teddy bear, move away from the teddy bear? Maybe kind of just a shutting down, checking out. Maybe there's a activation in your system of getting upset or angry. What is your impulse? What do you feel coming up for you? When you sense, how do you feel toward this teddy bear? Do you want to move toward it? Move away? Good. And now I'm sure we all had different responses to that. And I'm going to ask Jim, since you had raised your hand before, would you like to share your thoughts? And you have to unmute. Your first thought, second thought, and maybe how did you feel toward, what was your response toward this teddy bear?
My first response was loneliness. I felt like the teddy bear was lonely.
Yeah.
And then I felt like the teddy bear was just waiting for love, waiting for whoever loved that teddy bear to come pick it up.
Yeah.
And then this is so corny. I wanted to hug the teddy bear. I wanted to pick it up and hug it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, and it can feel kind of cheesy because that's our culture, right? That it's almost loving and caretaking isn't as emphasized, especially in masculinity. But it's such a precious, beautiful part of us as a human being to want to care for and nurture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Good. Okay, good. I'm going to share another one, another picture here. Okay. This is a picture of a door. Now, this can be a little bit more ambivalent, or we may have different responses here. And maybe we can let's try writing in the chat, if you will, so we can and I will read out the answers or the responses from people. Write in the chat your first thought when you see the door. What's the first thought that comes to your mind? Inviting. Green. Mysterious. Church. A church door. Old. Prison. Secretive. Ooh, what's behind the door? Love old doors. What's behind it? It's huge, intimidating. Good. Now, what's your second thought as you go a little deeper into this door? Do you have a second thought? Does anything else come up? Is it locked? It's not my home. No, there's some curiosity. Oh, don't want to open it. Nope. Do I know where it leads? Oh, it's too serious for me. Oh, I should take a picture with the door. Good one. Yeah. I'll knock to find out. Good. And now move into this. How do you feel toward the door? How do you feel toward it? Do you have a impulse to move toward or move away? You want to get out of there? You just stuck if you don't really know what to do with this door? Don't really care about the door? Indifferent, hesitant? Open it, stay away. Maybe just keep on going. Marvel at it. Definitely not open it. Curious and hesitant at the same time. Yeah. You like the green color. Good. So notice that everybody has different reactions, different responses to the same image, right? Even within ourselves, we might have different responses to it. And this tells you a lot about yourself, how you see the world, what messages you've received about the safety of the world. Yeah. Okay, last one we're going to do, our last prompt is, I'm just going to speak it. And I want you to notice again, your first thought, your second thought, and how you feel toward it. Your impulse. Okay, ready? All of you is welcome here. All of you, individual you, is welcome here. All of you is welcome here. And let's put in the chat again. How do you feel when you hear that? Your first thought, beloved, inviting, seems safe, feels nice, amazed. There's some doubt. Not sure about me. Shy, relief, hesitant, embraced. And notice if there's a second feeling that comes in, if there's a first one and then a second one. Sometimes there can be a longing, like a, warm, drawn to that, a desire for that connection, and then disbelief. And then there's a voice that comes in. A voice that comes in that is, I don't know if I can trust that. I don't know if me really. There may be like a initial desire for connection. Yeah, wait, is it for real? Yeah, exactly. That I don't know if we can trust. And she doesn't really know me. All of me, even all, does she really know the part she's maybe just polite, wishful hope? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so these are where you're beginning to understand and see. These are just some easy examples of how you see the world, of your beliefs or understandings. And when you have stresses or big triggers, these will be amplified. You will notice bigger emotions or feelings, impulses, sensations, and things coming when you have stress, when you have obstacles and challenges or traumas in your life. And so the more trauma and stress and adversity and things that, not just adversity, but when we were children, when we didn't have that caretaker, that loving presence, when we really had to try to self-regulate, we ended up being, a lot of our time was spent in that survival mode. We're in survival mode. When we're in that fight, flight, freeze mode, we are unable to connect with others. We cannot actually be in connection and feeling that empathy for one another when we're in survival mode, when we're in our fight or flight response. So sometimes we notice we'll get in an argument with somebody, and somebody we care about, and we really want to resolve it. We want to be seen and heard, but we're activated, we're upset, we're frustrated, or we're shut down and checked out, and we're unable to connect. And both people are activated and in fight or flight, and they end up just fighting because it's not possible to find connection when we're activated and feeling unsafe, because we're automatically, our body has gone into that response. And so here I want to emphasize the fact that there's a reason why you go to that response. There's a reason why we get upset and we want to fight back and we can be mean or yell. There's a reason why we shut down and check out and we can't engage anymore. And those parts of us are also good. They're there for a reason to protect us. And so we can give ourselves this bigger embrace, this bigger compassion, that all of us, all parts of ourselves are okay and they're good. They're actually, your body is doing what it's designed to do in stress, in moments of disconnection and stress. We are designed to cope, to try to do something to keep us safe in that moment. And so when we have a lot of these living our life in this constant state of stress and survival mode, we have this window of tolerance for triggers. And our window of tolerance is very small if we've had a lot of trauma. And so we notice somebody cuts us off when we're driving, and we blow through our window where we get activated. We're like really angry, we're really upset, or we're, somebody says a mean comment, and we take this hurtful comment and we just shut down, and we're just like, checked out. We can't even, it just puts us in a fog or something. We notice sometimes our window is really small. And our window of tolerance can be small sometimes when we're just not taking good care of ourselves, our body, when we're super hungry or super tired, or we're lonely and we have a tiny window, and then a little trigger comes along and boom, we're in one of our fight flight responses. And it doesn't mean that we're bad. It doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong or even that we're broken. We're actually doing exactly what we're designed to do as human beings, and that is to keep ourselves safe. And we're just picking up on these cues of safety and cues of danger, and we might have a tiny window. So when we do this somatic therapy processes, we are now expanding our window. And we're expanding our window in two ways. One is in the present moment. When you embody and you slow down and connect to yourself, your window gets a lot bigger. You can really handle and understand and be that loving presence for whatever emotion is there. And also, the more we do that, the bigger our window gets overall. The bigger our window gets. We have this big tolerance, a big window. And I mean, then we can experience all kinds of things. If you want to go an extreme, like Jesus, who's on the cross, right, being nailed to the cross, and he has compassion for the people that are there. God forgive them, for they know not what they do. He's having compassion for these people. His window of tolerance was pretty big. And because he was able to be so connected to his true self, connected to his higher power, so in one and sync with it, that he had a big tolerance, a big window to hold so much. So we might have a smaller one to start with, but as we do this practice where we we bring our feelings in to a safe space to be seen and accepted and loved, then our window grows a little more, and it grows a little more. And these parts of us that have been kind of scattered or misunderstood or trying to shove down where we can't see them, instead they're integrated into our being, and our window gets bigger with every time. So we do embodiment practices in the moment to help increase our window in the current moment. And then as we do it, we give ourselves even more capacity throughout our life. So the big part of this process is connecting to our higher self. How do we connect to that higher self? Right? And we know everyone has it within them. It's not something we have to grow or create. It's already there. It's already inside of us. And we just have lost access to it because of these parts of us, these wounds, these protector parts that have come up because they've learned that the world is unsafe and we have to be a certain way. And we have these coping skills and we're in this kind of protection and survival mode. But underneath that, our self, our higher self is already there. So how do we connect to it? So I'm going to walk us through a little practice where we're going to end in that connection to self. And then I'm going to ask for a little prompt, and we'll open up the floor for everyone to unmute and just share a little message at the end. And so it's just a less than 10-minute little exercise. So I'll walk you through it. Okay, so this is our connecting to our higher self. So we're going to begin by taking a deep breath. As always, it's our first step. Whenever we want to embody or connect to ourself, we breathe. And in that breath, we are communicating to that nervous system, the one that's automatic, the one that decides if we're going to react or not. We're communicating we are safe in this moment. It's safe enough in this moment to let go and be present. So you can close your eyes. Breathe in. And we're going to start to feel again the support in our back, the support from our chair, our seat, the floor. And breathe in, really feeling that channel of your breath going up and down, opening up this flow. And then bring awareness to the front of you and create a softness in your face, in the front of your body. Really invite some softness there. So you have this soft openness in the front, a really good flowing energy in the middle and inside, and then a supportive back and floor, really supporting you from underneath. Good. Now we're connected to our body. Next, we're going to move to our thoughts. Here we're going to separate ourselves from our thoughts. We're going to observe what thoughts have we been really allowing to take up all the space in our minds. Have we noticed ourselves kind of ruminating or letting certain thoughts swirl around for a while and get attention? And notice the balance between negative thoughts, maybe stress or worry, positive thoughts of gratitude, safety, excitement, joy. And then there's lots of neutral thoughts. A lot of times it's just busyness. Got to do this, got to do that, got to do this. Checklists, to-dos. Notice the balance in your thoughts, in your mind. What takes up the most space? And does that balance suit you? And now here, since we're observing our thoughts, we are separate from them. We actually have more power than we realize. We have this power of choice over which thoughts we're going to give all our attention to. And a way to shift is to start to bring into your mind thoughts that are more positive, present, grateful. We can start to speak these thoughts to ourselves. I am fully supported by the universe. God has a plan for my life. I have an abundance of love. I am in this moment. I am safe. I am loved. I am surrounded by like-minded people who are on this journey with me together. I'm not alone. Whatever thoughts that you want to bring into your mind that are true for you, that help you feel more calm and centered and grounded. Our thoughts affect our feelings so closely. So this is, we're just going to keep bringing into our thoughts ones that are more positive. And this is where, if you would have a good handful of thoughts that really inspire you, that help you, like mantras and things, this is where you would bring them in. Bring them in. Let them fill your mind. And that's a way to be able to shift in any moment when we start to feel overwhelmed with our thoughts or conflict in our thoughts. We can start to just separate from them and bring more of these positive thoughts in that space. Very good. Okay, and next we're going to check in with our emotions, our feelings. And before we do that, we're going to get some space here. Our internal experience needs a little space from all those thoughts. So what I like to do is gather up my energy, like you're kind of swirling a ball of energy around inside, let it kind of charge up. And then if you can use your hands too, and then push, use that energy to let the ball explode and push all your thoughts just to the outside of your being. And you can hold them there. Oh, and take a big breath into that space you've created. You now have this nice bubble, this empty space. And for one moment, you can just be. You don't have to do anything. Good. Okay, now from that space, we're going to invite in our feelings. How have we been feeling today, the last week? How about when you wake up in the morning? Sometimes before we start our day, we have our raw feelings right there when we wake up. How do you wake up? What do you feel? Maybe going to bed at night, all the day comes back and you have feelings. Maybe there's pauses or maybe there's eruptions in your day of big feelings. So we're going to just notice them. And again, I want you to separate yourself from these feelings. They're just a part of you. They're coming from some wounded part of you. They make sense. They're there for a reason. See if you can tap into your curiosity and compassion for these feelings. You want to know more about them. Good. Now, sometimes we have a tendency to judge when we reflect on our feelings and how we acted. We want to take away the judgment here in understanding that we've already done the best that we could possibly have done in our life, with our support and our tools and our practices, everything that we have in those moments, we did everything we could to act in the best way that we were able to. Anyone else in our shoes in our life would have acted the same, that we are doing the best. We have won the contest for the best of us, of who we are. No one else could do it better. This is our best. And we have so much opportunity to grow by learning. We are here to learn about ourselves. So here we learn, observe, what are these feelings? Why are they there? When we know more about ourselves, we can become a better version. Keep uncovering that beautiful higher self within. Keep connecting as we learn more. So there's no judgment, just compassion for all that we are. And then we just take this as an opportunity to grow and learn. And now our final piece of this is to connect, to open our heart for our spiritual connection here, our spiritual part of ourselves. And this is where we get to practice receiving love, receiving this love from something greater than ourselves. So I want you to now imagine opening the door to your heart and breathing in this love and compassion from outside of you, from the universe, from your creator, your higher power. That breathe that into your being. And imagine the love that we're receiving is like a moment in your life that you remember feeling healed, feeling a healing presence, someone or something in your life that offered an experience of healing. They saw you. You were seen and understood and loved. Let that into your being. Breathe it in. And now, what message does that healing presence have for you in this moment? What is the message for you? What is the feeling, the words? What is the message for you? And now I want everyone to unmute and speak that message into our space here. And it's okay if they overlap. We'll just kind of go with the flow. When you hear an opening, just speak. Speak the message. What message was given to you in this moment?
Invite me in to heal you.
I am loved.
You can believe.
Everyone can unmute. Everyone.
I am enough.
I am enough. You are loved.
I am lovable.
Yeah.
Keep this space open to receive more.
Open. Yeah.
I am worthy.
I am
Forever mine.
Beautiful. I love and accept myself. keep going. We can do a few more.
Keep believing.
Keep believing. Mm,
My love.
my love. Mm.
I feel a lot of peace and balance. I didn't get like a message, but
Yeah,
I feel very peaceful and balanced.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the feeling. That's the what you received from that. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Yeah.
Fullness.
Fullness. Hmm. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. This is our higher self. All of those messages, that vibration of love and acceptance, all those messages, they are within us, already existing inside. And they are accessible to us when we need to be seen and heard and loved. So the practice, that embodiment practice of going through, checking in with yourself, breathing, feeling your body, and then separating from your thoughts, from your feelings. And when we separate, we find our goal is to access the compassion and curiosity. And if we notice a thought or a feeling that comes up and we don't have compassion, that means that we're not in that self energy yet. And that's just another part of us that is counteracting. And so we keep on going deeper inside into a place we can feel that energy. And if we are unable to get to that place ourselves, then God has put all of these beautiful human beings on this earth so we can connect with each other, find that connection within relationship, that we can be seen and loved from another being. And that is that self energy that will draw us out. That sometimes we need that loving presence in our lives from another to get to that place, to let that love in. So however you get there, that's the goal. And when we get to that place of our higher self, then we have this clarity, calm, compassion. We can sort things out. Things make more sense. We can understand which direction to go when we have choices, which one's best for us, and how we can really lean into our lives and the world and our experience from that place. And then we're no longer in conflict with ourself. We are integrated and whole, and we move forward. There's now an openness, a flow to where we're going, where we're headed in our life and our energy. And that's the goal, is to really unclog those pathways and open the channels for that self energy to flow. So I'd love to invite anyone else who wants to share about this experience. How did it go for you moving through? And you can talk about any one in particular, thoughts, feelings, emotions, or the self connection at the end. or the whole thing. I'd love to hear, how was your experience?
I just wanted to say that for me, it was very raw and very real. And it was like bloody because you allow that very deep and raw feeling, the love coming deep, but this has been missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. The depth of it. Yeah. Was good. And Jennifer says, I'm safe to rest. Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
I realized that maybe it's that tender part of me that's behind the green door sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
In the first exercise, my fist was so tight, even when I put the tender hand over it, and it took a while to loosen up. And then that was kind of affirmed at the very end when the message was, invite me in to heal you. Because sometimes you feel like
That's beautiful.
you're like your higher self, your creator, whoever doesn't want to be bothered with your little aches and pains or hurts. But the message was very clear.
That's beautiful.
Invite me in. Thank you. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Reassured is how I feel.
Yeah.
There's an assurance that this process is real and it's accessible and it can be mine any moment I choose it.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I know for me, it is very real. When I, for a long time, needed others to fill me up, and I did get filled from others in my life. And I often didn't have that available. And I felt so empty and had this hole that if I didn't have another human to love me in that moment, I was empty and afraid and lonely and alone. And I believed in God and I knew he was there for me, but I didn't feel it in my body. I didn't feel the comfort. And so it wasn't until this deeply knowing of myself and uncovering these little parts of me and loving them and being seen in the light of all of me is good. Even the parts that other people say are not good, that other people tell me are bad, even those parts of me I know are good. And so I feel that love within my body. I feel it. I feel the warmth and the love and the comfort. So one more fun little tool for really feeling it physically. It's sometimes we're lonely. I know people who don't have other humans in their life. They just really are physically alone. That it's helpful to have some physical touch, some way of really feeling this love. So one thing that we can do, I'm going to invite you all into one more little practice. I want you to take your hands again. Our hands really are a huge part of our perception of the world. They take in so much information. I want you to rub them together. Get Get them nice and warm, lots of good energy and heat. And now, get that nice and warm. Okay. Now I want you to take your hands and cross your arms over and gently place your hands on your cheeks like this. And close your eyes and sink into that. Very good. And it almost feels like another person holding your face, because when you cross the arms over, it tricks the brain a little bit. And it can feel a little bit like somebody's there just holding you. And if your face isn't your favorite part to touch, then whatever part of your body does want that touch, take your hands there and just invite that loving energy and warmth into that place in your body through your hands. And just drink it in. Yeah, good. So our God really created us with so much healing capacity and capability within our own body, our own soul, our own heart, our spirit. When we're connected to Him, especially, we can really love ourselves deeply, truly, viscerally feel that love for ourselves. And our hands are so powerful. Our hands are a really powerful way to feel that love. So, does anybody have any questions or comments about that experience or anything that I've shared today?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have a routine before you go to sleep? Is there a type of how do you elevate and get grounded at the same time to go to sleep?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I have a really good meditation that I like to listen to. That if I'm having trouble with my thoughts or my body's activated, then I put in my little headphones and it's a letting go meditation, and it helps to calm my body, and I fall asleep before it's over now all the time. It's because it's just so soothing to my nervous system. I like the bubble exercise that I do sometimes when my thoughts are overwhelming. Then I kind of gather up that energy, and then I go and I push out all my thoughts like that. Every time. I love it. I can breathe into this like open space. And that way the thoughts, if I can't get rid of them, they're still there, but I've created a space that I can feel safe and relaxed. So that's helpful too.
What's the letting go meditation?
By Jason Stevenson. It's like
right.
30 days to letting go. Yeah.
Right.
I've done it for like 3 years now.
Right.
Not every night, but yeah, but just when I need it. Yeah. And then of course, any kind of stretching, yoga kind of stretching is really good for the body to relax. And we can get into our body instead of a lot of times we can't sleep because we're in our head. So there's just all kinds of thoughts and feelings and stuff going on. So quieting that by getting embodied into our physical body helps slow us down, and then we can sleep. Yeah. Thanks. Good question. Okay, so I think we're at time now, right, Myrna? All right, so thank you everyone. Also, and my last bit is I'm gonna just plug my somatic therapy class that I'm teaching in March, and it'll be this kind of thing, but going into more depth. more understanding, more tools, just all of it, like even more. And it is the first 2 Sundays in March in the afternoon. And it's on the website, generationalhealing.org. If you look there, and we're also going to put a link into our follow-up email so that you can click on it and register for the class. So it's 2 3-hour sessions. So it's 6 hours of just delicious information that is so, I find it fascinating. I love it. So I will be teaching that class in March. And so if you liked what you heard today, then you can join me for that. So, all right, that's all. Thanks, Myrna.
Yeah, so I did put the link in the chat. If you click on it, it should open up in your browser, but we will put it in the follow-up email with the recording of this and the link for that. And so I would like to just share my screen and invite Lisa to talk about what's coming up next month. Next month it will be, hold on, let me open this up there. It will be on the second Saturday, March 11th. So Lisa, go ahead.
So first of all, what an amazing session, Kendra. Amazing and wonderful. And the interesting thing is that my topic ties very well with your topic, because you spoke about emotions and the body, and that's what I come a little bit from different point of view. But because either any time of in our life, we are either in a powerful state of mind or primal state of mind. Powerful state of mind is a joy, excitement, curiosity, and primal state of mind is overwhelm, stress, anxiety, feeling burden, all those emotional feelings. And in this session, we learn how our body, our amazing, beautiful body, God gave us this detective system. It's called emotional guidance system. How our body let us know that we are not connected to the truth of reality, who we really are, powerful creators. And a body let us know that. And in those moments when we notice where we are, and in those moments when we can change, because when we notice it, the noticing is the first, we have power to change. And like Kendra said, at any time, we have power to choose how we feel. But the feeling comes from the thinking. It's what we are thinking. And when we notice those thinking patterns, and when we notice how body is reacting, what are we thinking? And in those moments when we can make the change, and our thinking changes, and we can create more in our lives. So we are very powerful creators, and I really would like to share a little bit different point of view, how we can get there so that we become the supreme human beings we are created to be. Because anything we want to create in life, anything we want in life, come from the state which are positive, something like joy, excitement. We cannot create anything we want. We cannot create anything when we are under stress. So we all go up and down in the emotional scale all the time. The key is that we notice it, and then we start working on it, and we can get there where we want to be and create the life we want to create. So I'm hoping you can join us next month of March 11 at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and in Europe, I don't know, different times. But welcome to join us, and thank you for attending today for this amazing session. We got so much from this session. So thank you, Kendra. Thank you, all of you, for attending.
Okay, just before you leave, if I could ask you to turn on your cameras if you're able, so we can take a screenshot of everyone's here. It looks better if we see your beautiful faces. Oops, hold on. All right. One. There you are. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it. All right. And thank you again, Kendra, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If the core team, if we can stay on just for a few minutes.
Mhm.
Let's see. Put them in the waiting room. Okay. All right. Thanks. So how did you feel, Kendra?
Good. I'm glad I did it. I was just a little stressed because I'm here I mean, you guys, just to be totally honest, like I got, my spouse decided he doesn't want to wait until the summer to split, we're splitting weeks. So I got kicked out of my house this weekend. So I'm in an Airbnb, like, okay, trying to make it work. And my kids are like, okay, bye mom. And so there's a lot going on in my own life that
Wow.
is kind of nuts. And then I had to come here and try to set it all up and I didn't sleep at all last night. I really was looking at my watch most of the night. Like, but at the same time, so there's I have a lot of really good tools. So I didn't sit in those feelings. I kept I practiced what I preached, and I was able to just sit with, like, it's going to be okay. Just trust everything will be okay. This is good. This is, God has a plan, and I just have to connect to my self energy and everything will be fine. So I did, and it worked. Yay.
Wow. You are a walking, living testimony to Heavenly Parent and God's presence with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
The recording is still on.
Oh, I can cut this part. Sorry.
Okay.